Good morning to you. Monday the 4th of July, Celia Gates back again with a Monday morning message. Now last week I spoke to you about the conference I'd been to where it was very apparent that we weren't actually recovering in terms of unemployment figures, and that entrepreneurship was going to be the way forward from this. Now, what was spoken about at that event was high growth entrepreneurship, and since I posted that last Monday, a few people have been asking me what I actually mean by high growth. So I just thought I'd take the opportunity to show you what I meant. And I also had a few things that I wanted to mention to you about finding focus, because that's really where high growth starts to come in. When you know where you're aiming for and you know how to get there, and you've got the knowledge and the attitude that's going to really carry you there. So basically, if we look at a traditional growth curve, whatever it might be, over time, income over time, you tend to have a fairly consistent growth. One taxi gets you one passenger, two taxis get you two passengers, three taxis get you three passengers as such, and up we go as we grow our company. Now, high growth occurs on a curve. So there might be a period of stagnant time, but at the point you've kind of acquired the skills and the understanding of the market, and indeed you've developed your products, you get to a point where you can really launch to proper high growth. So really what I hope to be able to help you do is shorten this period here so that you can really start to see this upward curve quite quickly. But the way to achieve high growth is by having a clear sense of focus, and really that's something that I've noticed a lot of people really struggle with. So let's just look at how you can best find your sense of focus. So if this is you standing here looking out over your situation, you can see perhaps what your ultimate aim in the distance is: your beautiful house in the country, your swimming pool, your yachts, your whatever it might be, that big value ticket that we're striving for, that greater lifestyle, etc. But how do you actually get there, and what should you be focusing on today and this week, in fact, in terms of growing your business and seeing this high growth curve? Well, you'll have a number of steps that are going to take you there. It doesn't necessarily matter what those steps are, it depends what your aim is at the moment. Say you want to write a book, for instance. Well, writing a book's perhaps not going to give you your castle in the sky, but it is going to take you to a certain level where your book's published, it's out in the market, people can buy it, they can read it, and you're getting royalties or sales from doing so. So in order to get to there, there's a series of different steps that you've got to go through. And what I've noticed is these are actually development cycles. So as well as understanding where you're ultimately aiming for, you've also got to realise what development cycles you need to go through in order to get there. And that's personal development, that's business development, and that's indeed product development, depending on what it is you're trying to grow. So this is where I think a lot of people fall flat, is in misunderstanding the development cycle. Now, if this is the goal that you're ultimately trying to get to, and this is where you're starting from, then would it not seem that at different stages you're going to feel like you've perhaps been somewhere before? And that's exactly what happens. Only each time you're at a stage where you've got more knowledge, you've got more skills. It might be that perhaps your confidence is suffering, but that's only because you can actually see the bigger picture. You now know what questions to ask. And so often when we start up doing something, it's that lack of understanding, that inability to really know how to frame the best questions that stops us moving forward. So by appreciating that you're actually going to do one full cycle of anything before you even get anywhere near where you're ultimately aiming for, can really help you to understand what you're doing and how you're getting there. So let's take the book example again. Let's take this as being the final finished published book. In terms of getting you there, you've got to first write a full draft. That draft has then got to be edited, at which point there'll be various different amendments. So you'll then end up writing it or re-amending it again. At this point it might be that you self-publish the book, you send it out to a few people, you get some testimonials, you understand more what the market thinks. At the end of the day, we can only develop things to a certain stage. It's then up to other people to judge really the best way to improve something. So at this point you might send it out and have other people give you some feedback. You might gather some testimonials that you print on the back copy. And then you complete the final cycle to publish it with its front cover. And if you can really start to understand that your sense of focus is coming through not just in looking at where you're going, but also in understanding the development cycles you've got to go through in order to get there, then I think you can start to fast track your progress and see some of this high growth. So I hope you find that video useful today. Certainly I've enjoyed making it. Have a great week.